What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio for Monday, June 29th, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic weekend. Sunday's 2015 BET Awards broadcast from downtown Los Angeles Microsoft Theater with hosts Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross. Hotly anticipated performers Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj hit up the stage, topped with the reunion of Bad Boy Records' biggest acts. Janet Jackson and Smokey Robinson received the Top Achievement Awards as well. For Best New Artist, it went to Sam Smith, while Nicki Minaj won Best Female Hip Hop Artist. Kendrick Lamar won Best Male Hip Hop Artist, while Beyonce won Best Female R&B Pop Artist. Chris Brown won Best Male R&B Pop Artist, while Ray Saruna won Best Group. Best Collaboration went to Common and John Legend for Glory from the soundtrack of Selma. Best Actress went to Taraji P. Henson. Best Actor went to Terrence Howard. The Youngsters Award went to Fact, and the Best Movie went to Selma. Best Gospel Artist went to Lecrae. And the Video of the Year went to Beyonce for 7-Eleven. Best Director of the Year was Beyonce, Ed Burke, and Todd Taruso. Sportswoman of the Year went to Serena Williams, while Stephen Curry won Sportsman of the Year. Coca-Cola's Viewer Choice Award went to Nicki Minaj for her collaboration with Drake, Lil Wayne, and Chris Brown on the song Only. Centric Award went to The Weeknd for Earn It from the soundtrack of 50 Shades of Grey. Nicki Minaj took home the Best Female Hip Hop Artist trophy at Sunday's BET Awards when she also brought a piece of home to the stage. The rapper escorted her mother to the podium, where Minaj demonstrated some gratitude to the woman who brought her into this world. The Anaconda songstress said, "I just want to really bring my mommy up because I always talk about my mommy, and this is the first time the world is getting to see her. And mommy, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done for me. I love you so much." Mommy returned the sweet sentiment. Minaj closed her moment by shouting out her fellow nominees, the fans online, and her Pink Print collaborators. But clearly the Sunday following Father's Day was all about Mom. In one of the most buzzed about moments of the 2015 BET Awards, the stars of Bad Boy Records, including label founder Sean Diddy Combs, Mase, Lil' Kim, R&B supergroup 112, and the rappers The Lox reunited for an explosive performance. Celebrating 20 years of chart-topping hits with fallen member Notorious B.I.G. looming over them as large as ever, the ensemble cast dropped song after song, amping up the famous crowd of onlookers, including Rihanna, Kelly Rowland, and Neo. Diddy opened the set with Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, rocking his signature 90s style tracksuit and glasses. It is, after all, 20 years later, with Mase joining him on stage for their classic Feel So Good. Bad Boy diva Faith Evans joined Diddy before the show-stopping entrance of Lil' Kim. Reversing from beneath the stage, Kim busted out her verse from All About the Benjamins as the crowd screamed in approval. Several current music stars joined the tribute, including French Montana, Pharrell Williams, Chris Brown, and Janelle Monáe. Label crooners 112 belted out a few verses from Peaches and Cream before a massive closing performance of B.I.G.'s posthumous 1997 hit More Money, More Problems. B.I.G.'s verse from the iconic single played as Brown took the party off stage and into the auditorium of LA's Microsoft Theater. Dancing in the aisles, in a touching tribute, the house lights were lowered over the closing images of the rapper, the real name Christopher Wallace, who died in March 1997 as a result of a shooting 4 months before the single was released. Pop star Rihanna stopped by Sunday's BET Awards to unveil a preview of her new music video for the single Bitch Better Have My Money. Rihanna shared the first 1 minute and 48 seconds of the upcoming mini-movie with the world, and now the rap is passing it along for everyone on their site. The clip posted above includes more setup than songs. Only the opening bars are heard at all, and those come towards the end. Instead, the video portion mostly focuses on a seemingly well-to-do woman heading out for the night with her toy breed Pomeranian dog. Rihanna can then be seen dragging a massive trunk from her car to a fancy elevator where the two fates collide. It does not appear to be a coincidence, however. By the time the elevator doors open, it's just Rihanna holding the little dog. When the singer is seen dragging the trunk out, it's clearly much heavier than it was moments earlier and a few floors higher, probably about 120 pounds heavier to be exact. Looks like that titular bitch did not have Rihanna's money after all. The documentary Bad Kid Begins the Wish Heard Around the World, the heart-rending tale of young leukemia patient Miles Scott, debuted in 4 theaters across the country this weekend and took in around $23,000 at the box office. That's a pretty good $5,750 per screening average, but big returns on this film were never the goal for New Line and Warner Brothers, which rolled out in San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. Jeff Goldstein told the Rap Sunday, "We feel great about this movie. It touched our hearts in a deep way, and we felt that since it was related to a Batman story, we had to own it. This was always a labor of love for us." The movie is about Scott, who at the age of 5 in 2013 was able to have his dream of being the superhero for a day realized thanks to the city of San Francisco and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thanks to social media, the story resonated around the world. Even President Obama sent a congratulatory message as Miles fought some bad guys brought about for the occasion and saved Gotham. The studio picked up rights to the film, directed by Dana Natchman, as Slam Dance for a modest price. Goldstein said Bad Kid would continue its limit run throughout the country throughout the summer. In one scene from the film, his father explains why Miles, whose cancer is now in remission, so strongly identified with Batman. The elder Scott said, "One of his doctors told us that with this disease, they just become like a fighter. They fight for their lives." I think he sees the good versus evil battle in superheroes. Bad Kid Begins has its world premiere Wednesday in San Francisco and has struck a nerve with critics. It has a strong 78% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. We may see more of the story. Julia Roberts is developing a feature remake of the documentary, which she would executive produce and star in. Natchman will serve as executive producer along with Josh and Dan Braun of Submarine under production company's new remake label Subversion. Donald Trump has a lot of opinions, but when it comes to same-sex marriage, the outspoken Republican presidential candidate says his views are now changing. Trump's appeared on CNN's State of the Union Sunday when he addressed a number of topics, including abortion, the Affordable Care Act, ISIS, immigration, and gay marriage. When the conversation turns to same-sex marriage, which the Supreme Court ruled legalized nationwide Friday, Trump has affirmed he holds a more conservative position on the issue, saying only, "I'm for a traditional marriage. It's changing rapidly." Tapper then asked the real estate mogul what was traditional about being married 3 separate times. But what do you say to a lesbian who's married or a gay man who is married who says, "Donald Trump, what's traditional about being married 3 times?" Trump didn't agree with didn't argue with the question and says he now has a successful union with his wife Melania. Trump told Tapper, "They have a very good point. I have a great marriage. I have a great wife now. My first 2 wives were very good, and I don't blame them. But I was working maybe like you, 22 hours a day." Trump went on to admit, "I blame myself because my business was so powerful for me." During the interview, Trump also doubled down on his comments about undocumented immigrants from Mexico, which led Univision to nix airing the Miss USA pageant. Trump told Tapper, "I like Mexico. I love the Mexican people. I do business with the Mexican people, but you have people coming through the borders that are from over there, and they're bad. They're very bad. You have people coming in, and I'm not just saying Mexicans. I'm talking about people that are not from all over, that are killers and rapists, and I mean they're coming into the country." On Thursday, Univision elected to end its business relationship with Miss Universe organizations due to part owner Donald Trump's recent insulting remarks about Mexican immigrants, the company said in a statement. The Spanish language broadcaster also said it will not be working on any other projects tied to the Trump organization. That includes no longer airing the July 12th Miss USA pageant as planned. Caitlyn Jenner jetted from the luxurious confines of her native Malibu to celebrate New York City's Gay Pride weekend. Turning up Sunday at a Pride celebration at Manhattan's Dream Hotel, Jenner was all smiles, taking in the crowd with pals. Sponsored by Voss Events and featured the sounds of Los Angeles DJs Blacklow and New York's Carlos Jacharek. Jenner was seen at the celebration with Candace Kane, a widely known New York City performer. Kane was the first trans actress to be featured as a recurring character on the 2007 ABC series Dirty Sex Money, alongside Peter Krause, Donald Sutherland, Billy Baldwin, Natalie Zaya, and the late Jill Claiborne. As of the July 26th premiere of Jenner's own series, I Am Kate approaches, Jenner is speaking out about her reasons for sharing the journey with TV viewers. Jenner said in a new trailer released on Friday, "People don't understand looking into the mirror. Nothing seems right. This is about getting to be who you really are." Jenner continued, "We are going to talk about everything. We're going to do a lot of fun things for the first time. We're going to go shopping for the first time. Maybe even some boy stuff like riding a motorcycle, because girls do that too." Chris Squire, a founding member of the progressive rock band Yes, has died after battling leukemia. He was 67. The band said in a post of its official Facebook page Sunday, "It is with the heaviest of hearts and unbearable sadness that we must inform you of the passing of our dear friend and Yes co-founder, Chris Squire. Chris died peacefully last night in Phoenix, Arizona," the statement continued. Yes keyboardist Jeff Downs also tweeted the news of Squire's death to fans. "Utterly devastated beyond words to have to report the sad news of the passing of my dear friend, bandmate, and inspiration, Chris Squire." Squire was born in London in 1948. 20 years later, he co-founded Yes with singer John Anderson. Squire performed on all Yes albums and co-wrote some of the group's biggest hits, including the 1980s song "Owner of the Lonely Heart," plus I've Seen All Good People, and Starship Trooper. He released one solo album, Fish Out of Water, in 1975. In a not-so-distant past, the box office performance of Seth MacFarlane's Ted 2 might have been hurt by tough reviews and reports from opening weekend moviegoers weeks after its debut. But today's social media-fueled buzz can impact the film within hours, and that's what happened to Ted 2, which disappointed with its $33 million opening. Lightning fast feedback can also help a movie in a hurry. At the same time, negative Twitter and Facebook comments were muzzling Universal's trash-talking teddy bear. Max, a family film about heroic military dogs, was getting an immediate boost from positive social media buzz and overperforming for Warner Brothers. And last weekend, Pixar's animation Inside Out got a ton of momentum and buzz accelerated by social media from strong Thursday night and Friday's showing, and took off on Saturday. In short, the same word of mouth that once affected the box office of movies over the course of weeks is now being felt almost immediately, forcing the on-fly adjustments by theater owners and studio marketings and distribution owners. Nick Caprew, the Universal distribution chief, says the digital age we are living in creates these exponential shifts that you can just predict. He had a front row seat for this weekend's buzz-fueled tumble of the Ted sequel and the recent explosion of another Universal movie, the blockbuster Jurassic World. Caprew said about the dinosaur sequel opening day, "When we got word about the sellouts in key theaters at prime times, I immediately got on the phone with exhibitors and asked them, 'Are you watching this?' and responding. While theater counts for the movies are set prior to the release, the screens designated for a particular film are not, giving theater owners the ability to add or cut the number of screens designated for a film based on its performance and buzz. That's happening much more frequently and extensively as theaters look to provide as many showings of a hot film and cut those of a cool one. Ted 2, which stars Mark Wahlberg, Amanda Seyfried, and Morgan Freeman, had other problems. The concept of a talking teddy bear did not seem fresh this time around, and the critics didn't like it either. But some of the buzz that followed its debut was, in typical Twitter fashion, pointed and nasty. The blockbuster Jurassic World stomped the $54.2 million and just edged Pixar's animation's Inside Out for its third straight box office triumph this weekend. In the process, the dinosaurs took a big bite out of Seth MacFarlane's Ted 2, which debuted with the muted $32.9 million. Max, the family film about a heroic war dog, opened to a better-than-expected $12 million for Warner Bros. And MGM. Tattoo, the R-rated sequel to the 2012 comedy hit featuring a trash-talking bear, had expected to make history by hitting $50 million, along with Jurassic World and Inside Out, which took in $52.2 million. It would have been the first time three movies had managed to feat on the same weekend. It was a roller coaster weekend for Universal, which saw a string of strong 2015 openings come to a halt with the tepid Ted 2 debut, but also watched Jurassic World top $500 million in record time as the domestic box office Sunday, and it built on its lead as the year's highest-grossing film. Jurassic World was also the #1 film in the world for the third week in a row, and after adding $82.5 million from overseas, and its foreign total is $738 million, and its global haul is a whopping $1.23 billion. The studio has good reason to expect more from Ted 2, since the original opened to $54 million in June of 2012. Ted became a popular culture sensation that summer, took in $550 million at the box office globally, and became the year's top-selling comedy on DVD and Blu-ray. It received a B+ cinema score for audiences, which evenly split age-wise, with 49% under 25 and SCOD male at 59%. The PG-13 rated Jurassic World and the PG Inside Out and PG-rated Max were all able to attract families, but the raunchy Ted 2 was positioned as a counterplay to the family's fate and couldn't take the full advantage, in part because of its R rating, which kept kids away. Max, the weekend's other wide-opening film, beat out Spy, a holdover R-rated comedy from Fox, for fourth place. The tale of a military dog that returns from Afghanistan following his master's death and lives with the fallen Marine's family received an A cinema score from audiences. That's even better than the critics, who have it at 69% positive on Rotten Tomatoes. The $7.8 million taken in by Spy puts the comedy, directed by Paul Feig and starring Melissa McCarthy, at $88 million domestically after a month in release. By comparison, Bridesmaids was at $107 million, and The Heat has taken in $129 million at the same point. Those two similarly R-rated Feig-McCarthy comedies went on to $169 million and $159 million domestic totals in 2011 and 2013 respectively. The weekend will be up around 3% from the same frame a year ago, when Transformers: Age of Extinction opened with the massive $100 million. That keeps 2015, which is running 7% ahead of last year, on pace to be the biggest year ever for the domestic box office. At number 5 was San Andreas. San Andreas made $5,275 million. Number 7 was Dope. Dope made a total of $2,861 million in the box office. Number 8, Insidious Chapter 3, made $2 million. Number 9, Mad Max Fury Road, made $1,736 million. And wrapping up the top 10 box office this weekend was Avengers: Age of Ultron, which made $1,643 million in the box office. And today we're debuting a brand new segment. This is On This Day in Entertainment History. On this day in 1967, blonde bombshell actress Jayne Mansfield was killed instantly when the car in which she was riding struck the rear of a trailer truck on Interstate 90 east of New Orleans, Louisiana. Mansfield had been on her way to New Orleans from Biloxi, Mississippi, where she had been performing as a standout engagement at a local nightclub. She had a television appearance scheduled the following day. Born Vera Jane Palmer in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, Mansfield arrived in Hollywood as a young wife and mother to daughter Jane Marie in 1954, determined to become an actress. From the very beginning, she wasn't afraid to make the most of her assets, particularly her curvaceous figure, flowing platinum blonde hair, and dazzling smile. Cast in the Broadway comedy Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, she turned heads as a voluptuous dumb blonde movie star. In one famous scene, she appeared in nothing but a white towel. She famously appeared nude in the 1963 comedy Promises, Promises, and still from the set appeared in Playboy magazine. But her best performance was generally believed to have been in 1957's The Wayward Bus, based on the John Steinbeck novel and co-starring Joan Collins. While her screen career amounted to about a dozen less than memorable films, off-screen she played the movie star role to perfection, becoming one of the most visible glamour girls of the era. In 1958, after her marriage ended in divorce, she married Mickey Haggerty, a former Mr. Universe. They divorced in 1963, and Mansfield was married once more to Matt Clymer in 1964. The marriage also ended in divorce, and she was awarded custody of their children, Octabanio. Marissa Hargitay, injured in the accident that killed her mother, had launched her own acting career, most memorably starring in the long-running television drama series Law & Order Special Victims Unit as Olivia Benson. Also on this day in 1967, Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards sat before magistrates in Chichester, West Sussex, England, facing charges that stemmed from the infamous raid of Richards' Redlands estate 5 months earlier. Though the raid netted very little in the way of actual drugs, what it did net was a great deal of notoriety for the already notorious Rolling Stones. It was during this raid that the police famously encountered a young Marianne Faithfull clad only in a bearskin rug, a fact that the prosecutors in the case seemed to have regarded as highly relevant to the case in hand. In questioning Richards, Queen's counsel Malcolm Morris tried to imply that Faithfull's nudity was probably the result of a loss of inhibition due to cannabis use. Morris would ask Richards, would you agree in the ordinary course of events you would expect a young woman to be embarrassed if she had nothing on but a rug in the presence of 8 men, 2 of whom wore hangers-on and the third was a Moroccan servant? Not at all, Richards replied. Morris, you regard that, do you, as quite normal? Richards responded, we are not old men. We are not worried about your petty morals. With that one line, Richards empathetically established himself as a spokesman for a generation that did not share the values of the British establishment. The charges brought against him by that establishment, however, was quite serious. While Mick Jagger stood charged with illegal possession of 4 amphetamine tablets he purchased in Italy, Richards faced a far more serious charge of allowing his house to be used for the purpose of smoking what the law at the time referred to as Indian hemp. Judging from his defiant attitude on the stand, Richards may not have taken the possibility of conviction very seriously. No marijuana had actually been found in Richards' possession, but on the evidence presented at trial of a sweet incest smell detected by police, Richard was convicted and sentenced to 1 year in prison. Jagger was also convicted and sentenced to 3 months, but he was immediately released pending an appeal. Richards, on the other hand, was sent directly to Wormwork Scrubs prison on this day in 1969, where he was greeted like, a rock star by his fellow inmates. Richards would spend only 1 night in prison, though, as he was granted bail the following day, also pending appeal. His conviction would later be overturned based on the prejudicial nature of the evidence of the naked young woman in a bearskin rug. For this part, Richards was definitely pleased. I like a little more room. I like the John to be in a separate area, he later said, and I hate to be woken up. And finally, on this day in 2003, Katherine Hepburn, a 4-time Academy Award winner for Best Actress and one of the greatest screen legends of Hollywood's golden era, died of natural causes at the age of 96 in her home in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Hepburn was born into a well-to-do New England family, the daughter of a prominent surgeon, Dr. Thomas Norvell Hepburn, and his wife, Catherine Huffington, a suffragist and a birth control advocate. She graduated from Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania in 1928 and became a stage actress. Her role in the 1932 Broadway production The Warrior's Husband led to a Hollywood screen test and a contract with RKO Studios. In Hepburn's debut film, A Bill of the Divorcement, she starred opposite John Barrymore and was directed by George Cukor, who would become her closest friend and hem many of her films, including 1933's Little Women, 1935's Sylvia Scarlett, 1938's Holiday, and 1949's Adam's Rib. Harold is a fresh, unconventional beauty and a talented actress. Hepburn won her first Best Actress Oscar for her only 3rd film, Morning Glory, 1933. A string of films with RKO had mixed degrees of success, and Hepburn began earning a reputation as arrogant and self-absorbed on stage. or on set, though she was always meticulously prepared for her roles. She also refused to play by the rules governing typical Hollywood starlets at the time, appearing publicly in pantsuits and without makeup, and refusing to sign autographs or grant interviews. After modest success with Stage Door in 1937 and Bringing Up Baby in 1938, Hepburn decided to buy out her contract with RKO, a move that gave her unusual contract over her career for that time. Her faltering image was revived by the success of the Philadelphia Story, which had originally been written for Hepburn to play on Broadway and then adapted into a hit 1940 movie co-starring Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart. Several years later, Hepburn met the actor Spencer Tracy, while co-starring with him in Woman of the Year 1942. Though Tracy, a devout Catholic, remained married, the two began a romantic relationship that would last until Tracy's death nearly 3 decades later. On screen, they acted in 9 films together, including Adam's Rib 1949, Pat and Mike 1952, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner in 1967. Tracy died just weeks after shooting was completed on the last film, for which Hepburn received her second Best Actress Oscar. Hepburn was awarded her third Oscar for her starring turn in A Lion in Winter in 1968. She continued to appear in films and on television, including an Emmy-winning performance in 1976, Love Among the Ruins, throughout the next 3 decades, winning a 4th Best Actress statuette for 1981's On Golden Pond. Nominated for 12 Academy Awards in her lifetime, a record that would stand until 2003 when Meryl Streep received her 13th nomination, Hepburn never attended the awards show to collect her honor. In 1986, she broke her longtime silence about her relationship with Tracy. His widow had died in 1983. In a televised tribute to the actor, she read aloud a poignant letter she had written to him about his drinking and about their last years together. She later included the letter in her best-selling 1991 autobiography, Me, Stories of My Life. Her final screen appearance in 1994's Love Affair, a remake of the classic 1939 film, Hepburn appeared frail but composed as ever as her portrayal of the aristocratic aunt of Warren Beatty's character. In 1999, the American Film Institute named Hepburn as the greatest female actress in the history of American cinema. When she died on this day in 2003, the lights on Broadway were dimmed for an hour to mark the passing of one of entertainment's brightest stars. And that's your entertainment report for Monday, June 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. Or on Twitter @The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.